Well, African affairs analyst Oluwaseyi Adeyemo is right here in the studio with me to discuss these matters. Good to see you.
Same here.
Thanks
Good to see you as well.
And global affairs analyst Nweke joins me via Skype. Nweke, good to have you on. Well, at the other end, right there in Belgium. Let me begin with you very, very quickly. Now, a lot of critics who have been condemning Trump's move to raid immigrants say this is antithetical to everything the United States stands for, what the United States was built on the back of immigrants.
Well, yes. I mean, quite a lot of things that Donald Trump stands on are antithetical to the establishment of the United States. I mean, the dreams of the founding fathers of what they envisaged as a country and what they wanted to make, the union out of. Now, you will recall that just a day or two ago, Donald Trump, the same Donald Trump, actually complicated the whole situation and, made it look more cynical when he called out, four female Democratic politicians, with roots elsewhere other than the United States of America, and saying that they should return back to the countries of their origin. So you see, this runs deeper than anybody would imagine, because as a matter of fact, Donald Trump has simply shown that he is racist, and he is certainly not very much interested in American security as the main reason for doing what he's doing. He's driven by hate, he's driven by division and racism.
All right, let me bring it to Oluwaseyi here. Do you agree with what is said that this is driven by racism? And if really it is, what signal does it send to extremists, white supremacists, for example, extremists everywhere?
Truth of the matter is, so what I try to say to people when we discuss this is, so Trump was very clear when he was coming in that he was going to pursue this agenda. It was more like the center of his campaign. And I think it was very, very wise for us, the rest of the world at the time, to start to work alongside or work with that thought process. Because obviously that was popular with the core Americans. Because the truth of the matter is, he was able to get voted into office because what he was saying resonated with the core Americans. And
what implications does this have? A lot of people have said, look, this so-called illegal, undocumented immigrants are the undocumented workforce, that this could actually backfire.
Yeah, I mean, we can say all of that, but the truth of the matter is, and I say to people again, a lot of so-called immigrants are not going to leave, and most of them will not be asked to go because they've been profiled. Those you refer to are people who are very useful to them, and they will never, never let them go, not on any terms. Those who would eventually be allowed or be pushed to go are people they've profiled over time. According to them, they have 820,000 immigrants, criminals, those who are not working for the good of America. Truth of the matter is, as we discuss this, I always want us to also look at the fact that over time, most or some of us Africans have not done well in the way we've carried and conducted our businesses out there. But and that is why,
does this justify Trump's actions? Nweke, you heard what Oluwaseyi said right here, that some immigrants have not conducted themselves well, including Nigerian immigrants. Is Trump justified in any way? 10.7 million immigrants, or migrants if you like, in the United States as at 2017.
Very telling because, I chuckled because 10.7 million is about the population of the entire Belgium as a country, the country where I live, where I am resident at this moment. Now, it's also funny to hear that the vast majority of these people support the American workforce, including helping to build the same so-called business empire that Donald Trump himself runs, because it is on records that this same Donald Trump actually has in his business most of these undocumented people working. Essentially, they are not living. And is Donald Trump actually interested in real in ejecting these people out of the United States of America? Certainly not. Donald Trump is simply using this as a tool for political purposes. Simply make out a statement, energize his base, and then for him, the business is done. So let us watch. I mean, they were meant to have started this operation on Sunday. In fact, as a matter of fact, in June, it was moved to Sunday, and now we see the mountain of resistance, from different mayors, different, governors. So essentially, Donald Trump may simply have just achieved his purpose by announcing this, so-called policy, and that will be it, because so essentially it may not happen.
Yes, and would you say that may be the likely reason why there seem to have been just skeletal raids across the country in maybe just two cities in New York and, some other place? Is there a kind of backtracking going on? Is that what you see?
Well, it's a combination of backtracking, but also the lack of a strategy behind this. I mean, strategy beyond populism. There wasn't really, that cogent plan to get these people out of the United States of America. Now, for Donald Trump, it's all about making big announcements and, like I said earlier, energizing his base, because ultimately that is probably where all of these are going to stop, to create the impression that he is doing something, whereas not very much is happening. That's politics for him.
All right, let me bring it to you, Oluwaseyi. The VP, Mike Pence, toured a migrant center in Mexico, and he did raise an alarm that, you had men caged upwards of 40 days and all of that. Is it begging the question?
You see, the truth is, like he rightly said, so some of these things will never happen because then there's a need to speak to it because it affects the coreness of America. But at the end of the day, like we also have argued, America was built on the fact that immigrants were the people who worked out all of this. So everything that will be done in a way that is properly managed so that you don't then tilt too much to the right and you don't tilt too much to the left.
Yeah, because Mike Pence actually says that, this immigration crisis is overwhelming the system.
Obviously, I mean, look, the same with, I know we're not talking about Brexit right now, but the same with everywhere in the world. So people have a plan to deal with certain things. In the course of their preparing their budget, as it were, some things happen, and you need to keep revisiting it. Those are the points. For me, everything that happens, the point for me is, so what's our take home? There will always be a revisit to the way we live and coexist between ourselves. So what are we doing as a people, as Africans, to ensure that we don't come across to these people as people who are leeches, people who just go there to take from the system? Are we showing that we're bringing value to the table? Because there's no way anybody anywhere in the world would take you out or push you away if you clearly show that you bring value to the table.
All right, Collins, Trump's argument is that these immigrants, the ones that are being targeted, the 2,000 or so who actually crossed the borders in the last few months or so, that they're not bringing any value to the United States.
Well, that's a statement. I need to be very clear about this. I do not know any sane government anywhere in the world that wants to run an open border where people just come in and go out as they please, because that would be encouraging and actually energizing terrorism among other crimes. So that is not the point. The point is that migrants anywhere in the world have their own rights as well, covered by international conventions to which America is a signatory. It is very easy to pick on isolated cases of crime committed by migrants, including Nigerians, and want to generalize that as the justification for, taking draconian actions against them, often, violating their rights under international law. Migrants bring value to the table. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Those who see those values explore them, they mine them to their benefit. I do not want to bog down your program by cataloging all that migrants have been doing in the United States of America and other parts of the world where they have migrated, and that includes Nigeria, but they bring value, and that's a fact.
All right, thank you very much. Collins Nweke, Global Affairs Analyst, joining us. Let me give you your last word on this one. Is the United States about to lose its position as the bastion of democracy and human rights with all of this action, including the situation with the migrants, illegal or not?
Truth of the matter is, going back what Colin said, they will never do, because at the end of the day, they will not do the things we expect them to do. What they're trying to do is just to jiggle the system, to sort of bring some level of talk and gain certain tractions from the things they're going to do. At the end of the day, you'll be shocked at the way this will play out, because they just want gain for themselves. And I say to people all the time, anywhere in the world is about them. What can we gain out of this? They are not going to chase people who bring value to their table. They won't. It wouldn't happen. Because at the end of the day, like you said, there are international laws that backs people for staying in certain places. And as long as that is there, nobody is going to lose his stand just because President Trump said it.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Oluwaseyi Adeyemo, Global Affairs Analyst, for joining us.